been sent across before today. I want to know those that have been able to go through the material, just to give me um, a little background check
Oh yeah,
on
listen,
those.
fast, fast, fast.
All right, Helen, please can you mute yourself? I need this place to be as quiet as possible. Sylvia, you as well. Please, everybody stay muted. Favor, please mute yourself so that everybody can be in tuned. Okay, so I was still speaking on those that have gone through the material. Just give me a rough your rough understanding of what social media and community management is all about. Yes, please. Yeah, Hamzat, go ahead and unmute yourself. I can see that you've raised your hand already. So please go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell me what
Okay.
social media community management is all about.
All right. Good evening. So, from what
Yeah, good
I
evening.
learned from the material, um, I think social media and community management is about understanding the pattern by which every social media platform operates, and using these leveraging these patterns to derive maximum um sales and brand growth for the business, and project an equally beneficial um product for the consumers or the customers.
Wow, I love that. I love that explanation. I love that definition. That was so on point. So let me hear from you, David Oladipo. Sorry
Good
if I
evening, ma.
butchered that name. Yeah, good evening. Please go ahead.
For me, ma, social media management is just like you trying to give your brand a face, or trying to, from what I read and from what I understand, social media is like you trying to give yourself maybe a safe or your brand a face in this technological era by posting videos or make sure that everybody is connected. It's just to know you more, to know your brand more, and to be able to manage it, how to make sure you are consistent with what you are doing, make sure you are giving out the right resources. That's what me I understand with the social media management. Thank you, ma.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful. Ah, we have a fired up class, so hey. Well, that's good. At least you make the place very interactive, and then we are not starting from ground zero. We are starting more with like more of questions, and then what you really don't understand. Okay, let me go through our slides and what we have here. So for today, we try to do a lot of introduction to social media marketing, and then its role in the full scope of things. In the full scope of things, when we talk about digital strategy, we also try to understand different platforms. We'll focus on just four main platforms. Sorry, five main platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and then TikTok. And also, we try to define social media goals, try to identify target audience on social media, and as well try to do a bit of computer analysis on social media, which is basically learning from others. All right, so let me make this bigger so that we can all see clearly. All right, so if you are an absolute beautiful thing about what we're about to do today is that whether you're at point zero, or let me not say today, all through these 4 weeks that we'll be meeting, what we're trying to achieve, what Open Tech is trying to achieve, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an intermediate, or whether you're already on the field of social media management and you just want to fine tune yourself, I'll try as much as possible to make sure that I meet you all at different levels or at different points that you may be. Okay. But this particular week, I'll focus more on laying the groundwork by exploring the vast landscape of social media. We understand its role in a bigger digital strategy because social media is just more like it's if a full stop compared to the whole marketing strategy of a brand or a business. So we're going to look at the unique characteristics of different platforms. We're going to learn how to define clear goals for social media efforts. And we'll also be diving into identifying your ideal audience. Now, when you're doing social media for your personal self, when you've opened a social media page, when you've opened Instagram page, open X page, open Facebook page, your goals are different. Your audience are different. Your audience are mostly your friends, your family, and then your celebrities, probably influencers you like, people you just like on the internet. But when you're doing social media as a career, when you're doing social media as a person, a business, it's different. Ideal audience are different. You're not following people because you just like them. When you talk about your audience, your followers, your following, it's different this time around. All right. So we're going to also teach you how to check out what competitors are doing, and hopefully by the end of this week, would I'll try to um, make sure that you have a foundational understanding of how to strategically approach social media for any business. Okay. All right. So, what is social media marketing? Basically, we have all given our understanding, and trust me, definitions were straight on point. There was really nothing to add, actually, what the first person said. So, just for the sake of making sure that those that are at their beginning level still get a grasp of what social media marketing is, I'll do the definitions. So, social media marketing involves creating and sharing content on social media platforms to achieve your marketing and branding goals. Now, it's important that you note that to achieve your marketing and branding goals is like a key point here. Social media for your personal self, social media for you, or social media, let's say that you have social media platforms that you have on your X where you're trying to banter people, or your Facebook where you're trying to just post your best pictures or put out yourself at your best self. It's different when it comes to you as a social media manager for a business, or you now properly trying to build or use social media for your personal brand. It's different. Here, the keywords remain to achieve marketing and branding goals. All right. It also includes activities like posting updates, sharing images and videos, running contests, interacting with followers, and running paid advertisement. So, with your personal social media pages that all of you should have here, or should I say must have had before, when you're talking about social media marketing, it's different now. I know that there are situations whereby when I started out as social media managers, and then you hear a client say, it's not just to post on social media. And it sounds more like, I have a social media page already. So what are you doing differently? What they don't understand is that when you have a social media page for your personal brand, thank God, even Facebook even makes it better. They call your personal page your profile. And then when it comes to businesses, they call it a page. That's enough reason first to even let you know that it's actually different fields. Okay. The way you handle social media as a person now, not because you were trying to build a personal brand or because you had any business goals, is now completely different from how you're going to do this now as a career, or probably for your business, even your personal brand on a different light. All right. So while you might use social media to connect with friends, businesses use it to build brand awareness, drive website traffic, generate leads, which are potential consumers, increase their sales, and provide customer service. Also to build a community around their brand. So while previously what you're using social media for is just to post your best pictures, possibly let your haters in quotes know that you're doing good, or selectively choose what you want people to see you for, or what they want to know about you. With businesses is different. What you're posting is different. You can't just wake up one morning and decide to just post anything, or you can't just wake up one morning and decide that this is what you're going to post. There has to be a plan to it. You're talking about brand awareness. It's a step-by-step process. There has to be a lot of strategy that goes behind the scenes. There has to be a lot of thought out patterns that goes behind the scenes. And in terms of generating lead, there has to be a funnel. Do you understand? So social media marketing is entirely like, if you came to this class with the thought of, I'm already posting on social media. Let me just see what this is about. More like you're not expecting much because you're already on social media, or you communicate on social media. I want you to just find somewhere to just throw such thoughts, because you're about to jump to a different field. That's for those that are starting out, that really haven't entered the waters of social media marketing. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide without wasting so much time. So the role of social media in a larger digital strategy. Social media marketing is rarely a standalone activity. It's usually one piece of a bigger puzzle called the digital strategy. Now, it's important to know that digital strategy, which I can also call a digital marketing process, let me just call it digital marketing. Social media marketing is just one part of digital marketing. Under digital marketing, you have content marketing, you have influencer marketing, you have email marketing. Basically, digital marketing is everything that connects, everything that businesses or everything that brands do on their digital platforms to actually market themselves. It's just like traditional marketing where people put up billboards, where people have commercials on TV. Digital marketing encompasses everything they do digitally on the internet to make sure that they reach out to audiences and then they get their business goals. So it's better to know that social media is just a piece of that bigger puzzle. It could either be to generate leads, to get new like for example now what piggyverse does. If you're a very conversant user of piggyverse, you know that most of their social media pages, or should I say their social media, one of their social media goals is actually to build a community. Most of their content are centered around community building, around engaging their community and all of that. You would also see content that revolves around their new product, or just making their community understand what their product are about. Okay, so what's a digital strategy? Digital strategy is like the overall plan for how you use all your digital channels, just like I said, your website, your email, your search engines, and then your social media to achieve your business objective. Now, where do we find social media in all of this? Social media often acts like a bridge, awareness and discovery. Now, there's literally nobody on this planet as at now that doesn't have a social media page. Why that may look like why that may look at like I don't know the particular word I want to use for that, but that's like a pool of audience. That's like a pool. That's like what when you see that as people being on social media, businesses are seeing, it's like that's like their audience. Why do you think the direction of marketing suddenly just moved from traditional to a large extent to digital? Why? Because literally, what's the essence of going to people's houses to find them to buy your product when you can find them on social media hanging out? Do you understand? So that's one of the reasons, or that's one of the bridges that social media actually helps businesses, even personal brand, to achieve. So now instead of you actually going to houses, you need to go to, let's say for example, you sell in Lagos. You want to get consumers that stay in Awoyaya, consumers that stay in Lekki, consumers that stay in Ajah. Instead of to having use your leg to get to those places, social media just helps you bridge that gap. Okay, so that's one reason. That's the awareness and discovery part that social media helps businesses to achieve. Another will be traffic drivers. Now, what's the essence of, if people can if your shop or your store is in Lekki, and then you can drive good foot traffic from those that stay in Lekki, what about those that stay in Abuja? You don't want them to be your clients. So social media is that bridge. It helps you, even those that are not around you, through your website, through your digital mediums. Social media helps you get to them. Okay, engagement hub. I already said a lot of that when I referenced Piggyvest and their community building. Now, it's not every of your customer that you would always want to know how they are doing. Aside the fact of you selling to them, or I'm using the word customer so that you can always put yourself in the place of a business owner, even when you're a personal brand. Even if you're here for social media marketing class for your personal brand, always put it. Even your personal brand is a business. I know that when it comes to building personal brand, it steps away from the normal use of social media. It steps into actually being intentional. So with everything I'm saying, I'm referring businesses. I want you to also, like, in your mind, try to imagine it in that way as well. Okay. So instead of you to always, just like what Indomie does, where once in a while, let's say they come to a place, or they go to a school whereby they try to sensitize the children, give them cartons of Indomie, give them do one or two parties, just to make sure that aside their corporate social responsibility, just to make sure that they engage their day-to-day audience, or they have should I say their day-to-day audience feel that whole brand love. Social media is also a place that happens now. Yes, it does not cancel out the efforts of offline. It doesn't cancel out offline effort. It doesn't cancel out the fact that if you even notice itself, if you're very conversant with social media, you notice that most of influencers, most of businesses, aside even those that started out on social media full time, are trying to take up their audience or take up their influence to the offline world just for more imprints. But social media is like a place, or social media, when you get to understand social media marketing for businesses, it's a place, businesses see it as an opportunity for them to engage their audience, for direct interaction, for feedback, and for building relationships. Okay, it's also used for as a place for customer service. That's why if you're a social media manager, if you're building your brand on social media, your personal brand, you have to be very careful, because social media is the new customer service. Well, like, you will see situations whereby brands are calling out, or should I say individuals are calling out brands, and then as a brand you just make the mistake to think that that call out is not important for you to address. That's one of the worst mistakes you can ever make as a business, or as a social media manager, or as a human, where you have a business on social media, and then there's a problem with your customer service, it's your customer, and then they are calling it out on social media, and then you see it as a reason. You don't see it as something you should act on. That's a very terrible thing. Many customers now expect to get support via social media. So nowadays, you may have a problem with your bank, and then before you know what happening, the next thing that comes to your mind is to jump on Twitter to drop a tweet. Next thing that comes to your mind is even to call them out on your story. So these are more are what we use social media for. Businesses use social media for at the moment. So another thing social media is used for. Thank you for muting. So another thing social media is used for is for content distribution. Instead of having to go date door to door, or have a situation whereby you're putting a traditional marketing, probably a billboard in Lekki Epe Expressway, where not everybody can pass through. But then when people are with their phones all the time, why not then use content? Why not then use that medium to actually reach out to them? So that's what social media is actually for as well, content distribution. It's important that you note these things I'm listing out, or these things that are being listed out, that social media is looking to achieve, because they will help you when you get into the game of social media management, or when you go back to the game of social media management. So you know what kind of content, if your goal is awareness, you know what kind of content that you should be directed, what your content should be directed at. If your goal is content distribution, you know what your content should be directed at. And then if your goal is to create an environment where your customers, where consumers, where your audience can engage, can interact, you can build positive relationship with your clients, it will also tell. You get, so these are actually goals that businesses, or you as a social media manager, will set for your business, or for the page you're managing, or for your personal brand part time. All right. So lastly, audience insights. It gives valuable data about your audience demographic, interest, and behavior. Now, let's say before the rise of social media, or the rise of digital marketing and all of that, normally maybe how business, I was not born in those age, know what their audience are like. The what they knew as a there was literally little, because you can't see, they literally just buy your product and go. You can only guess what their attitude, their behaviors, their likes are like, based on your product. But now with social media, when someone likes, it's good to know that the algorithms, yeah, both Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the algorithms have been tweaked in such a way that based on what you like, based on what you interact with, they get to understand your behaviors. They get to understand basically what you'll be able to buy, even based on your location. They're able to understand whether you're able to even buy some products and all of that. So that's one beautiful thing about social media. So if you're using social media for just your personal self and your favorite pictures, you need to have a little tone on that. So now imagine your digital strategy is a football team. Your website is a stadium. Your email marketing is direct mail to your fans. And social media is like the public relations and fan engagement department. Each plays a different role, but at the end of the day, they all work out together to win the game. So no effort is lower than any effort. Email marketing is not more important than the website, and the website itself is not more important than your social media marketing efforts. All right. So now let's move over to understanding different platforms. We are still on five platforms highlighted: Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and then there was one other platform, TikTok. Yes. So let me just get some feedback. Can I listed, just give me one key thing about each of these platforms, like based on what you know or based on what you've been able to interact with. Just one key thing: Facebook one key thing, Instagram one key thing, LinkedIn one key thing, X one key thing, and then TikTok. Let's go. Let's have that very fast so that we can move over to what we have planned. I can't see any hands. Are we still together?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Hyun View. I don't know if I called that right.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, please.
Okay. So first of all, Facebook. Facebook for me, I feel like Facebook is mostly for like it contains major people, but mainly like mostly older people and the younger people,
All right.
both older and the younger generation. You can find variety of people on Facebook. Then on TikTok is about like trends. So like anything that is going on in the movement, on the moment, you will see it on TikTok.
All
Then
right.
LinkedIn is professional. All those great jobs and everything is LinkedIn. Everything then you find it, you can direct it to LinkedIn. And I feel like
All right.
Instagram is kind of like professional and at the same time current trends. We are talking about fashion, we're talking about blogs, most blogs, whatever is going on, you feel it on Instagram. While Twitter is mostly about gists and banters. So and yes, most corporate organizations like banks, like restaurants, they usually like get feedback and receive response from clients or anybody from Twitter. Probably you have a complaint about food in a restaurant, you can tag the restaurant and you will get immediate response.
Wow. Wow. That was very comprehensive. That was very, very good to know. I like how you broke down each platforms and then their strengths. So yeah, let's move on to what we have here. So the social media landscape is vast and is constantly evolving. Each platform has its own unique features, audience demographics, and best practices. But now let's look at the key considerations for each platforms. Now, when evaluating a platform for your business, you want to look at the primary content format of that platform. Now, what's your business like? If your business is if you run a business where you're doing a fashion brand, you want to know what kind of content works best for that platform. So you want to take note of the primary. That's, for example, now if you're a social media consultant over time, and then a client comes to you, and then they want to start up a business, and then they know they want to use social media for that as well. Then they're asking you to give them platforms that they can start out with. As much as it's very important for you to say, be on all social media platforms, but it's also important to rest on the strengths based on the brand or based on what the business is all about. Okay, that's for businesses that are not able to run the five platforms or all of the platforms at the same time. So it's important to put this into consideration when you're putting forward such conversations. So first thing is the primary content format of that platform. There are platforms that their strengths are text, their strengths are images, their strengths are short video, and their strengths are long video. Now, we all know where the strengths of long video lies, which is YouTube. For short videos, we know it's TikTok, we know it's Instagram, we know sometimes it's Twitter. You get. And for images and text, we know that works very well on Instagram. Then